All right, guys. For today, we're gonna call this sector area, and like the name says, the sector is the section, part of, area was area. So it's the area of a part of something. In this case, we're looking at part of circles. So let's for circles, the first thing on circles is the area of a circle. I know you guys are familiar with it, but do me a favor, still write it down. Area of a circle is r squared times pi, where r is the radius. So we're familiar with that, but let's just save it. Area of a circle is r squared times pi, where r is the radius. Sometimes we use pi as a decimal. You guys know it as 3.14. It's just an estimation, 3.14. But if we ask you, we're working the area of something, and we ask you to round it to either the nearest tenth, round it to the nearest hundred. If we ask you to round it, use pi as a decimal, 3.14. If we don't ask you to round it, leave pi as a pi. So as an example, if my radius was 3, let's say the radius was 3, I will call the area 9 pi. Right? R squared, the radius is 3, so I will call it 9 pi. And I will leave pi as a pi. Okay? Unless I tell you to round it. Otherwise, leave pi as pi. Now, for sector area is the area of a section of the circle. To get the sector area, multiply the area of the circle by how much of the circle we have. Let me give you guys time to copy that. So sector area is the area of a section of a circle. To get the sector area, multiply the area of the circle by how much of the circle we have. It sounds like mumbo jumbo right now, but it will make sense in a minute. All right, can I take that slide off? Left. Okay. All right. My next slide, do me a favor, copy that example. Find the area of each sector. Go back? Okay. And then today, the notes, I will include an example just so it helps us remember in June. All right, can I take this now? Yeah. All right. Do me a favor, copy that circle the best you can. It says find the area of each sector. Keep in mind, I didn't say round it, so leave pi as a pi. We're going to leave pi as a pi. We're not going to use it as a decimal. We're going to leave pi. The information that we have on the circle is that the radius is 14 and an angle is 135. So we're going to do this example in our notes. In fact, let me put it better there. So our radius is 14, our angle is 135. Let's say we're doing this example. We know that the area of a circle is r squared times pi. Notice that the radius is 14, so 14 squared is 196. So the area of a circle will be 196 pi over 1. I'm going to make it a fraction. Right? And I can easily make it by fraction by putting a 1 underneath. So once again, the area of a circle, of this circle in this case, is 196 pi over 1. Right? The area of a circle. And I'm going to multiply this by how much of the circle we have. we have 135 degrees out of 360. And the whole circle is 360. We have 135. So once again, is the area of a circle times how much of the circle we have. And then just multiply fractions the way you know how to multiply. Right? We just multiply straight. 196 times 35, 1 times 360. But before I multiply, because those numbers are pretty big, let me simplify. Right? Before I multiply, let me simplify. 135 over 360, let me divide each by 15. Just to simplify it, 135 divided by 15 is what, 9? 360 divided by 15 is 24. 9 over 24, we can still simplify more. Right? Divide each by 3. So I'm going to have 3 over 8. Now, I remembered in proportions, when we used to have proportional, remember we also used to divide sideways? Or we used to simplify sideways? But remember back then I also used to tell you guys, then we couldn't simplify diagonal because we multiplied diagonal. In a fraction, since we multiply sideways, that's the only way we cannot simplify. So that means that 196 and 8, I can simplify. The only way, since we multiply side to side, the only way we cannot simplify it is side to side. 196, let me divide each by 4. 196 divided by 4 gives me 49. 8 divided by 4 gives me 2. Now I'm easily going to multiply 49 times 3, right? I'm going to multiply straight across. 49 times 3 is 147 over 2 pi. Notice for fractions, remember, multiply straight across. 49 times 3, that's how I got the 147. 1 times 2, that's how I got the 2 at the bottom, and pi. Like I said, leave pi as a pi. The hardest, I think I did tell you guys, I don't know if I mentioned it this week, but I know I mentioned it previous weeks. We were going to get to a point where we're going to multiply fractions, and the hardest thing was going to be simplifying. And I think that is it. Right, multiplying fractions, you guys learned that back in, some of you guys probably middle school. Right, multiplying fractions, you know how to multiply, but we have to simplify it. We deal with big numbers, so the hardest part is simplify. Some of you guys have a calculator that can do fractions. The way you guys know that it does fractions is because one of your keys looks like a fraction. Either they use, I think that it uses B over D. Some calculators use A over B or whatever letters the calculators use, but some calculators have a key that looks like a fraction. And some of them even look like A over B and over A and B over C. They make it look like a mixed number. Because some of your calculators know how to do it. I can teach you, if you have one of those, I can teach you how to use it. That way you have the calculator multiply and it simplifies. If you don't have one of those, then you have to simplify it on your own. Right? No decimals. 147 over 2 pi. Don't change it to a decimal. Leave it as a fraction. Right. Any questions on the notes? Any questions on our notes? No? All right, now let's take a look at our worksheet. I'm not going to do question number 1 from the worksheet because it is the one from our example. Right, I have you guys copied on your notes. Remember, the work that I showed you guys right now, make sure that work, it is in your notes. Not just the question, the work. It is in your notes. Like I said, I'm not going to do number 1 because it is the one in your notes. Right, I'm not going to do the same question again. So let me start with question number 2. My radius is 13, and I know 13 squared is 169. So the area of a circle is 169 pi over 1. Right? I'm getting the area of a circle, 169 pi over 1. And once again, 169 is 13 squared. And I'm going to multiply this by 195 over 360. The area of the circle times how much of the circle we have. Let me simplify 195 over 360. Let me divide each by 15. You say what? 13 over 24. Good. Thank you. I know 13 and 169 sideways, I could divide each by 13, but since I multiply sideways, that's the only way I cannot divide. Right? That's the only way I cannot simplify. So we will have to deal with it. 169 and 13. So let me multiply that out. I'm going to get a calculator. Or better yet, 169 times 13, multiply that out, it should give you 2,197 over 24. All right, I multiplied my fraction. I couldn't simplify it anymore. And then don't forget your pi. 2197 over 24 pi. Good. Let's take a look at one more example, because it's not that much, it's not that hard to work, but it's something really new to us, so we're going to work it out. The radius is 12, so I'm going to say the area is 144 pi over 1. Remember 144 because I went 12 squared. 144 pi times, let me go 210 over 360. Remember, it's always 360 at the bottom because the whole circle is 360. I can easily simplify the second fraction dividing by 10 cancels out the zeros. Then 21 over 36, I can divide it by 3. So we get 7 over 12. And then diagonal, the 12 and the 144, we can simplify it. Let me divide each by 12. So those becomes 12 and 1. Remember, now we can simplify diagonal because we don't multiply diagonal. We multiply straight across. On the top, 12 times 7 is 84. The bottom, 1 times 1 is 1. It's less. So it's 84 over 1, which is better known as 84 pi, right? 84 over 1 is just 84. If you come over and we're doing the quiz or test, but you're more comfortable leaving your 84 over 1 as 84 over 1, I'll be okay with it. Right? Like I say, if you write 84 pi, well, that's better. But if you write 84 over 1, because you're more comfortable leaving the 1 at the bottom, I'll be okay with it as well. Right? We know 84 over 1 is 84 anyway. So I'm cool. I'm okay either way. But do make sure your answers are simplified. My key, if I was to come over and press for my answer, it will give me 84 pi. Like, see, there's my answer. It gives me 84 pi. Like I said, my key gives it to me simplified. So make sure you simplify your answer. All right, any questions? No questions?